Dr. Henry Loomis, this is Zora Bennett, our mission specialist.
Sorry, what mission?
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives.
It looks like Jurassic World 5 could be heading in a surprising direction, especially if the people behind it decide to run with an idea that Scarlett Johansson once jokingly mentioned. And when you add in all the hints that Jurassic World Rebirth left behind, along with speculation about which action director might take the reins, there's actually a bunch of exciting stuff to dig into. So, let's break down what we know and where this next installment could go. The sequel feels inevitable, mostly because Jurassic World Rebirth made a huge splash at the box office. Even after the misstep that was Dominion, Rebirth pulled the franchise back from the brink. It didn't just bring in solid numbers, it managed to hold its own against the year's biggest superhero releases, pushing its way toward that magical $1 billion mark. That kind of success almost guarantees another movie, because Universal isn't going to let a cash cow like this one sit idle. Rebirth worked as a soft reboot, cleaning the slate while introducing some new blood. Scarlett Johansson joined the series as Zora Bennett, a covert ops veteran who gets dragged into a dangerous mission to escort a paleontologist into one of the last dinosaur strongholds left on the planet. Their goal? To secure genetic material that could potentially save millions of lives. It's a big idea that plays into the moral tug-of-war this franchise has always been good at, the line between science that saves humanity and science that destroys it. By the time the credits roll, Zora is one of the few survivors, and she ends up teaming with Dr. Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey. Instead of selling the DNA to a pharmaceutical giant for massive profits, the two decide to share it with the world. That decision sets the stage for major fallout later on. If Jurassic World 5 gets the green light, it's hard to imagine Johansson not coming back. She's a megastar, and studios love leaning on that kind of pull. But here's where things get interesting. Scarlett herself once joked in an interview that she'd be fine showing up in the franchise only to die in the first 5 minutes. At the time, it got a laugh. She even said she'd happily get eaten by a dinosaur if that's what it took to be in the series. But if you think about it, that could actually be a bold move for Jurassic World 5. Her character Zora is clearly important, but she hasn't had enough time to become iconic like Sam Neill's Alan Grant or Chris Pratt's Owen Grady. Killing her off early in the next movie would be a gut punch, because it would instantly tell audiences that nobody is safe. This series has sometimes played it too safe with its heroes, but wiping out a lead right away could put the fear of dinosaurs back at the forefront. And even though Rebirth wasn't a critical darling, a bold twist like this could change the conversation in a big way. Speaking of Rebirth, it wasn't exactly a total reinvention of the wheel, but it definitely felt fresher than Dominion. The story set up several threads that could easily carry into the next sequel. For starters, what happened to all those mutated dinosaurs? The movie spends a lot of time teasing InGen's experiments, showing us that scientists were working on hybrid breeds. Yet by the time the main characters arrive at the jungle facility, only a handful remain. The assumption is that the Distortus Rex freed a bunch of them years ago, but it's strange that none of the heroes actually run into them. So if these hybrids are roaming free, Jurassic World 5 could finally show us where they ended up and what kind of chaos they're causing. Another big thread comes from Duncan, played by Mahershala Ali. His character was one of the highlights of Rebirth, and a lot of that comes from Ali's performance. We learn that Duncan's marriage fell apart after the tragic loss of his son, and while Amelia never appears on screen, her presence hangs over his story. Surviving his encounter with the D-Rex gives Duncan a new lease on life, so it feels almost inevitable that a sequel will explore whether he can mend his relationship with Amelia. That subplot has the emotional weight to balance out all the dinosaur action. Then there's the Extinction angle. Early in Rebirth, Zora points out that most dinosaurs are dead or dying, which is a huge shift from how Dominion ended. We later learn that many of them migrated to equatorial regions to escape climate change and human expansion. This makes the dinosaur survival not just a question of science, but one of environmental ethics. Saving them becomes a metaphor for protecting endangered species, and that gives the franchise a meaningful layer. Watching Henry's joy when he discovers the Titanosaurus shows how personal that mission could be in future films. Of course, not everything is hopeful. Zora and Henry's decision to make dinosaur DNA public is bound to anger Parker Gen X. the company they defied. The movie strongly hints that this decision won't go unanswered, and Jurassic World 5 could see the corporation seeking revenge. Whether they tie Parker Genix back to InGen or introduce a new sinister faction, it sets the stage for more corporate greed clashing with nature. And let's face it, that's been the core of this franchise since the original Jurassic Park. Meanwhile, Zora and Henry's relationship feels like it's just beginning. There's a spark between them by the end of Rebirth, and even if the writers don't go full romance, their bond will likely deepen in the next film. The push and pull of Zora's pragmatism with Henry's idealism makes them an effective team, and that could carry them through bigger challenges. Another thread worth watching is the use of dinosaur DNA for medicine. It sounds noble, but in this franchise, nothing good ever comes from messing with nature. Fans remember that scrapped idea for Jurassic Park 4 about human-dinosaur hybrids, and some believe Jurassic World 5 could revive it. If that happens, Zora and Henry might end up cleaning up the very mess they created by releasing the DNA in the first place. That kind of twist would not only deepen their arcs, but also push the series into some wild, horror-tinged territory. So who could direct Jurassic World 5? Two names are being tossed around: Joseph Kosinski and Ridley Scott. Kosinski has had a stellar run with Top Gun Maverick and the upcoming F1 movie. His style thrives on scale and adrenaline, which fits perfectly with dinosaurs running amok. His ability to reinvent action visuals could breathe new life into the franchise. Then there's Ridley Scott, a filmmaker whose resume speaks for itself. From Alien to Gladiator, he's proven time and again that he can balance spectacle with substance. He's no stranger to franchises, and while he usually leans toward original projects, his track record shows he isn't opposed to jumping into a blockbuster series. If Universal wants a director who can bring gravitas and a sense of history to Jurassic World 5, Scott would be a strong choice. At the end of the day, Jurassic World 5 has a lot of directions it could take. Whether it's killing off Scarlett Johansson's character for shock value, exploring the mutated dinosaurs, or digging into Duncan's personal journey, there are plenty of storylines left to follow. The question is whether the filmmakers will play it safe or take the kind of risks that could redefine the franchise. Because one thing is certain: audiences are still hungry for dinosaur action. Even though the critical reception of Rebirth was mixed, people showed up in droves to see it. That means the appetite is still there, and Universal has every reason to keep feeding it. The trick will be balancing spectacle with fresh storytelling, something that could finally put the Jurassic World series back on par with the magic of the original Jurassic Park. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because we'll be covering more updates on this soon, and other exciting upcoming movies and series. We'll see you next time.